Hey, hey, hey. Happy Monday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host, here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch, brought to you by, incredibly enough, thegaminggang.com, which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief. Welcome aboard. Tonight is September 12th. 2022. For some reason, I just zoned there for a second. It's like I almost said November because I got a bunch of news from November coming up. Today is September 12th. It is a Monday. It is 2022. And this is live stream 827. Keep in mind, super casual around here. We are just hanging out, talking about the latest in tabletop gaming news, and then taking a first look at a game. It's not rocket surgery by any stretch of the imagination. So tonight, I am going to unbox and take a first look at the Polyversal science fiction miniatures war game system. This is from Collins Epic Wargames, and this has been on the horizon for quite some time. We will talk about it, but the Kickstarter is being fulfilled. So this is the boxed set. So we're going to crack this open. We also have some tiles we're going to take a look at, and I even have some miniatures that were sent to me by Byron Collins. Gosh, it's more than 2 years ago, but they are for Polyversal. So we're going to take a peek at those as well tonight. So we got a pretty big show ahead of us. Also, do want to mention, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more that you won't find here on the YouTube channel. And of course, it's a live stream. So that means there's chat available. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. And you must be a subscriber to the channel for at least 48 hours before you can take part in chat as well. Yet another way that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But if you want to say howdy, maybe got a question, a comment, by all means, chime in and I will do my best to respond. First out the gate tonight was the Motor City Madman. That's right, the Madman's with us. Jason Bratley, Flaming Heron, and Viper Dave are hanging with us so far tonight. So we've got a couple of our chat moderators in the Madman and Flaming Heron. So good to see everybody here. I'm sure we'll have a few more people floating on in as things go. So yesterday was first weekend of football, first Sunday of football. That was fun. Yeah, I made a few bucks. I had some pretty decent parlays that I put together, so that was kind of cool. I hadn't really done that in a long time. I thought, what the hell? It's opening weekend. Why not? And amazingly enough, the Bears won, who I had actually bet on, not only to cover the spread, but to win outright. Yeah. As soon as I saw that awful weather, I was like, yeah, this is going to be pretty low scoring. All right. Anyway, so hopefully everybody had a great weekend. And we are going to get right down into the news because hitting stores in early 2023 for Kolossal Games is Lost Empires: War for the New Sun. Here's the skinny. Welcome to 581. On this distant planet, four factions battle for control of alien artifacts left behind by an advanced and ancient civilization. The warring factions are TerraCore, Scion Imperium, Neo-Human Republic, and Feng. With Earth in near ruins, 581 provides the chance for a second Earth. Yeah, give us a second chance to ruin a planet. But who will rule? Who will be the first to build a worm gate and transport their armies through it to conquer the dust of 581? During the invasions of 581, the factions built large interstellar bases to house, control, and deploy troops. These bases are known as hives. As a player, you take on the role of a commander of one of these hives, from which you deploy your forces in the fight for control of the ancient alien artifacts and dominance over 581 itself. Lost Empires is a head-to-head card-driven area control game with a focus on tactical movement and deck design. Each player chooses a faction to play, and using the cards available to that faction, constructs an 18-card deck with which you do battle. You earn artifacts by controlling objectives and destroying elite enemy units, augmented with alien technology. Once you've collected sufficient artifacts, you use them to construct a worm gate. First player to build a worm gate wins the war for the new sun. Lost Empires: War for the New Sun is for 2 players, ages 14 and up, plays in around 30 minutes, and is going to carry an MSRP of $35 when it arrives in Q1 of next year. There is also an expansion that is going to arrive at the same time. I'm not sure if you can get in a bundle or not, but I do know it's coming out at the same time. It's called Crown of Ashes. It is going to have an MSRP of $69. It is going to bump the player count up to 4 and also include solo rules. I got to say, artwork to this looks very, very cool. Seems like this comes across as being a card game. I know it said it's card driven, but all I've seen are cards. So I don't know what the game board looks like or anything like that. So don't know. But this does sound really, really cool. Arriving in November. Remember, I mentioned I've got some November news. That's why I started saying it was November 12th, not September 12th. Anyway, arriving in November from Portal Games is Brazil Imperial. I've got the skinny. Take on the role of one of the great monarchs of the past and show your valor. You will arrive in a vast and rich territory, but the road to prosperity is filled with challenges. In Brazil Imperial, you need to construct buildings, manage resources, explore the land, create trade, acquire the support of the greatest personalities of the country, and recruit a powerful army to protect your interests against the rival states. If you make the right choices, you can complete missions to progress to a more advanced era, receiving new and interesting options for development and victory points. In the end, the best monarch receives the title of Brazilian Emperor and constructs a new era of prosperity, freedom, and peace. In more detail, while playing on a modular map board that recreates real regions, you use a combination of worker placement, area majority, and individual powers to construct an empire in Brazil between the 16th and 19th centuries. You can start by choosing one of the available monarchs and its personal game board and components. Some monarchs are strong in combat, while others prioritize science or exploration. You receive tasks that advance your progress when you complete them, giving you access to more power constructions as you move into the second and third eras of the game. I would think that means it was supposed to say more powerful constructions. Not sure, but that just sounds better. Brazil Imperial was developed with the concept of it being Euro X, a new style of game that combines Euro games in which you collect and manage resources, and 4X games in which you explore, expand, exploit, and exterminate. A new concept of maps was also introduced in this game. All maps are different and created with modular boards that recreate real regions of Brazil and the world. Each game, you can focus on resource management, combat, or a combination of both, depending on your choice of monarch and the interaction with other players. Brazil Imperial is for 1 to 4 players. That's right. There is going to be a solitaire aspect to the game, so there are solo rules. It is for ages 14 and up, plays in around 100 minutes. It's going to carry an MSRP of $70 when it arrives on November 17th. Interesting. Although I'm kind of curious. So it's all taking place, as far as I understand, in Brazil. It is taking place from the 16th through the 19th centuries. But these monarchs that they're showing are not from Brazil. So they've got Queen Victoria. I know we're not going to see Queen Victoria here, but the right there, she was off the top of my head, I think it's Maria, but she's from Castile. So is this kind of a colonization game? Because I'm kind of surprised by that. I don't know. But like I said, it does look very, very interesting. Looks like it's got some pretty cool visual pop as well. So the Madman says they were definitely liking the Lost Empire's War for the New Sun artwork. Yeah, it looked pretty cool. Looks pretty decent. Madman says, far too many games I want to buy, but when the basement begins looking like my local game store, I should probably be a bit selective. Yeah, probably. Family probably feels that way too. 245 Trioxin is joining us in chat. Good to see you. All right, on to some role-playing game news, because right now you can score huge savings, and I am not joking about huge savings, on the first edition of the Doctor Who role-playing game through a current Humble Bundle. Here's the deets on the deal. This role-playing game is bigger on the inside. Time Lords across all time and space rejoice. The Doctor Who role-playing game bundle by Cubicle 7 is here for adventurers of all ages. Grab 2 6-sided dice and you'll be traveling to the corners of the universe, ancient Rome, the far future, and any point in between. With the Doctor Who role-playing game rulebook, 12th Doctor Edition, you'll get the foundation for your travels, and the Time Traveler's Companion will help you round out your crew with material like the 10th Doctor source book and dozens more books. You'll have an incredible reference series to relive some of your favorite Doctor Who stories, all while supporting BBC Children in Need. You can hop aboard this bundle for as little as $1, which will score you the 10th Doctor edition of the core rulebook, as well as 3 adventures and a 10% discount coupon to Cubicle 7 Entertainment. Or you can go all in for an $18 donation or more, and you will score 27 PDFs plus that 10% coupon. It is actually a $515 value. It also includes all 12 of those fantastic Doctor source books that Cubicle 7 has put together. It's like, wow. So here's the deal. When I say you're going to score huge savings, you can get all of this for $18 or more. Remember, it's a donation. If you wanted to get just one of the Doctor source books. So let's say, hey, you're a big David Tennant fan, and you're like, you know what? I don't necessarily know if I want a role-playing game, but I wouldn't mind having a book that's got all of the adventures for the 10th Doctor in it. I think that'd be kind of cool to read through. Fantastic. You want it in PDF? You go to DriveThruRPG. It's $19.99. You can get that and 26 other PDFs, all the Doctor source books from the 1st through the 12th for an $18 donation. That is pretty damn sweet. That is a fabulous deal. These savings are going to run through September 29th. And don't forget, your donation is going to benefit BBC Children in Need. So yes, this is probably one of the best humble bundles for role-playing games I have seen. They usually do really good Pathfinder ones, which I think that's, you know what? They actually just extended that, the Strength of Thousands. So if you're in the market for some role-playing game action, you got Doctor Who and Pathfinder all available for a song. Sarah D is with us in chat. I assume that means Mr. Eddie T is not far behind. Sarah says that they saw the Doctor Who bundle. Is it bad that my first thought was, oh, this would be great source material for fan fiction? No, actually, it's not. I've said it before when I did some reviews. I have not seen all of the Doctor source books. So I have seen the first, in fact, I reviewed the first Doctor, and I've seen the third. I have the fourth, although I got to be honest, I haven't really read it. It was just Dominic McDowell gave it to me as, you know, as a pal, because we've talked about it before. Tom Baker's my doctor, right? You know, so, but the thing that's really cool about it is it actually will go through each of the adventures. So, of course, when you're talking about earlier Doctors, when they had the half-hour episodes, you would have maybe anywhere from 4 to 8 episodes that made up a story. Well, all of those are in these books, and they give you a synopsis that gives you a lot of detailed info about the episode. And then it also includes things like, oh, so if you want to role play this episode, this is what you can do. Or if you want to role play what happens, you know, beyond that, here's some adventure nuggets as well. Really, really well done. So if you like Doctor Who at all, this is definitely something to pick up, and it's going to cost you what, less than a couple of tickets to the movies? Come on. Coco B is with us. Duct Tape Atmosphere, where they serve Wilkins coffee and drive-through pizza. Sarah said that RPGs and tabletop games really aren't her jam. She's just here for the atmosphere. Well, hell, if that's the case, Sarah, I guess I'm going to have to turn this into a knitting show. I would hope not. Flaming Heron says, if nothing else, this is a great read for all the lore that's contained within. Yes, you are right on the money. All right, moving right along. Hey, how about another November news piece, even though this isn't November, it's September. Let's try to remember that, Jeff. Arriving in November from Free League Publishing is the Blade Runner role-playing game starter set. Or I guess I should say Blade Runner, the role-playing game starter set, because that is officially its name. Here's the latest. A neon noir wonderland that will take your breath away, one way or another. An evocative world of conflicts and contrasts that dares to ask the hard questions and investigate the power of empathy, the poison of fear, and the burden of being human during inhumane times. An iconic and unforgiving playground of endless possibilities that picks you up, slaps you in the face, and tells you to wake up. Time to live or time to die. The Blade Runner, the role-playing game starter set, will include everything a player needs to set off into a corporate-hungry, paranoia-filled universe, including a condensed rulebook, pre-generated character sheets to jump right in, and the first case to crack, entitled Electric Dreams. So, do androids dream of electric sheep? I wonder. Plus, there's actually a ton of handouts included in the set, providing players with clues to decipher whilst progressing through one case at a time. So right now you're taking a look. That's what's in the starter set. That is a lot. There's a lot in that starter set. It's going to arrive in November. I do not have an exact date just yet. It is going to carry an MSRP of $49.99. I know a lot of people are eagerly anticipating this role-playing game. I am very interested. So my understanding, now I could be way off base here, but my understanding is this system is going to utilize, it's still the year one engine that kind of powers most, not all, but most of the Free League Publishing role-playing games. So it's still based on that, but it is going to use mechanics that were in Twilight 2000. So rather than just rolling six-sided dice, you are going to have different sized dice. So the better a character is at something, the larger die they will roll. So, which if you had checked out Twilight 2000 or even just my review of the 4th edition of Twilight 2000 from Free League Publishing, you know they made that tweak. I don't think it's going to be as crunchy as Twilight 2000 is. I think this will be more narrative than Twilight 2000 tends to be. Twilight 2000 is probably, at least in my opinion, the crunchiest of the Free League Publishing role-playing games. Christopher Rush has popped on in, said they're hanging out, but they're not able to chat. Well, howdy, Christopher. Good to see you here. Kevin R. Smith just popped in as well. So look at that. Look at all that stuff. Granted, a lot of it is probably the handouts, but still, for $49.99, pretty sweet. I'm assuming that we will get to see this. I do have to reach out to my contact from Free League Publishing and maybe do an interview before this hits. See, maybe talk to Tomas again from Free League, because I know he's the designer of it. Kind of discuss this. One thing I'm kind of curious about is, how do you flesh this out? I mean, we effectively have two films, which both flopped on release. Although I got to admit, I liked Blade Runner 2049. I thought it was really good. Then again, you know, it wasn't Star Wars fluff, so I guess people weren't lining up to check it out. But there really isn't much out there. You figure, as far as I understand now, correct me if I'm wrong, those of you out there in chat or in the comments section afterwards, I thought Philip K. Dick only wrote well, I don't even want to say it's a novel because it's not super long. I think it's closer to being a novella. Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? And I think that's the only time he actually wrote anything with that as a setting. So I'm kind of curious. I will point out, now I have not read them, but Titan Comics over in England, which they're available here in the US, they've got a couple of lines of Blade Runner comics that are actually supposed to be very, very good. So that might be something that you can use for some inspiration as well. Hey, on a quick side note, I know it has really nothing to do with this game. I've actually met Philip K. Dick's daughter. She was super nice. She was actually part of the roundtable interviews that we were doing for Man in the High Castle at Comic-Con. What was that now? 3 years ago, 4 years ago, something like that. And she was very, very nice. And she was on top of everything. So she takes her father's legacy very, very seriously. And we did talk a little bit about Blade Runner as well, not just Man in the High Castle. All righty, final news piece. Now available for Old School Essentials from Axian Spice is the adventure Falkrest Abbey. Here's what I know. The forlorn Falkrest Abbey in the icy Loon Mountains is where the queens and kings of yore used to be crowned and buried, along with their treasures. Kind of weird that I'm including this news piece, not even thinking of Queen Elizabeth. I was like, just as I read that, I was like, wow, it just clicked. Maybe that was a little, subconscious thing. According to legends, the fountain of St. Brennad still pours its miraculous water somewhere inside. But what caused the fall of the Blessed Abbey? Falkrest Abbey is a level 1 to 3 dungeon adventure for Old School Essentials. Written by Andrea Tupac Mollica and Giuseppe Rotondo, with original art by Zaria Diana. I guarantee I've mispronounced all of those names, and I apologize. It includes a 19-room dungeon with exploration, combat, mystery, puzzles, and NPCs, encounters and events along the way on the icy Loon Mountains, several hooks and alternate outcomes with possible repercussions on your campaign, 3 new monsters, 2 new magic items, plus 1 almighty magic vial of miraculous water. Spoiler right there, huh? Content warning, this contains grave robbing, necromancy, flayed zombies trying to kill you, golden nose prosthetics, and a pool of clotted blood. Oh, and a frozen dwarf. Normally, the 42-page adventure would set you back $6.99, but right now you can score the PDF over at Drive-Thru RPG for $1. I would have to say, this looks like a pretty good Old School Essentials adventure. And it's $1 for the PDF. All I got to say, that's it. Mic drop. You got to check it out. Really, really nicely done. And in fact, if you aren't familiar with the Old School Essentials adventures, now this is not from Necrotic Gnome. This is from Axian Spice, but it has the same format. So not too shabby. All righty. So you might want to check it out. It's 42 pages for 100 pennies over at Drive-Thru RPG. All righty then. That is it for tonight's news. Of course, I was just talking about Drive-Thru RPG. Don't forget, the Gaming Gang, thus the Dispatch, is affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you are going to go visit, say, Drive-Thru RPG or going over to like Storyteller's Vault, Dungeon Masters Guild, what have you, please stop by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our banner ads. That way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a small portion of that sale. All those nickels, dimes, and quarters really do add up and help keep thegaminggang.com around. Also, if you like this video, well, if you like it, you should be giving it a thumbs up. I keep having to remind people of that. We've had some big crowds watching some of these videos last week, and well, big crowds for this stream, like 35, 40 people. A little weak on the thumbs up there, folks. Remember, if you like to spread the word about the Gaming Gang, that is one of the ways that you can do it, is by giving it a thumbs up and commenting in the comments section. Don't forget that too. Anywho, if you like this video, if you dig the channel, if you find thegaminggang.com to be a valuable reference, hell, if you just like what we do, you can always swing on over to paypal.me/thegaminggang and making a small donation. And thank you kindly to everybody out there who either utilizes our banner ads or swings by paypal.me. You really do help keep thegaminggang.com afloat. You really do, because I do not hit you up with Kickstarters to keep thegaminggang.com around. Coco B mentioned, isn't Kurt Russell's Soldier part of that universe? Like a sidequel to Blade Runner. I thought it is part of the universe, but I don't think it's based on a Philip K. Dick story. So, I don't know. I got to be honest, I have not seen that movie since it probably came out on VHS. So, God, got to say, it's been a long, long time. Quick Save F5 is joining us in chat. I do believe this is a first-time visit in chat. So welcome aboard. Make yourself at home. Get comfy. Kevin says, apparently the scriptwriter who also wrote the Blade Runner movie intended it as a sidequel, but it's not necessarily considered such by anyone else. Yeah, see, I thought so. Quick Save says, be kind, rewind. That was kind of a funny movie too. Wasn't that Jack Black? It's like one of his earliest movies that he was in. That was okay. All righty then. So, plenty going on. So tonight we are going to be diving on into the Polyversal miniature system, and we're going to be looking at a lot. So I'm not going to do my usual, 10 minutes of letting you know what's cooking and things like that. But there are a couple of things that I did want to mention. First off, a few people have asked, why didn't I do a news piece about the Monty Python role-playing game? And the answer to that is quite simple. The Kickstarter isn't starting until October. So yes, I know it is from Crowbar Creative. I got the email. Actually, Crowbar Creative likes me because they sent me, not only did I already review it, but they just sent me the paint box edition of Rackham Vale. So this is color with all color inside. So I'm going to shoot a video. I'm not going to do another review because nothing has changed except for this being in color. It's really good, by the way, if you didn't check out my review. And also that, what is it? Dr. Grodberts or something looks really phenomenal. That is Crowbar Creative as well. But the thing is, there's nothing for me to share. I mean, there's a picture of the book cover, or those 3D kind of images where it's kind of at an angle, and then some sell sheet info. So it's kind of like, I know a lot of outlets out there were jumping all over it, but it's like, what are you going to share? The picture and then sell sheet info? So on Kickstarters, I prefer to either give you the news the day of it starting, or maybe I don't know all about it and I hear about it down the line. I'll share it like right away then. But for the most part, most Kickstarters, I like to share the news on after it's launched, sometimes maybe a day or two after it's launched, especially to see how well it's done. Because to me, I think, XYZ Kickstarter smashes funding goal in 3 minutes is a much more entertaining headline than XYZ Kickstarter launches. Boring. So there is that. Also, the other question, I have had people asking, what is behind my head? Because it's different. So you notice there's green poking out. on both sides here. And yes, I did change. I have a little placard that has hung there for, 3 years now? However long I've been doing this. And it is Stars and Stripes Forever. So that is usually what's behind me. Now, just to change things up, it's not fall without football. So I thought, yeah, I would just, change it up a little bit. Just, for a month or two or whatever. Just, just like you notice from time to time, I'll kind of switch things around a little bit behind me. So you'll notice, oh, hey, that's not the same book that was sitting there before. So Dusty Trekkies joining us. Good morning, all. Long live the king. Long live the king in yellow. All right. Dusty Trekkie must have been playing some Call of Cthulhu or some Lovecraftian gaming. 245 Trioxin also points out they're not a big fan of announcing Kickstarters months before launch. It is kind of weird. And when companies reach out to me, I always email them back and say, hey, do me a favor. Give me a nudge, a day or two before it launches. Because telling me about it now, when it's like 2 months away, is not going to really get you anywhere. Because it's like, I'm not going to post it. So, yeah, I mean, so trust me, I knew all about that Kickstarter coming. I just figure I'm going to wait until we've got more content. Here's the other thing. And so far, Crowbar Creative, like I said, love Rackham Vale. That Dr. Grodberts or whatever looks phenomenal. That's currently on Kickstarter. I think the Monty Python role-playing game, which says it's not a role-playing game, I think that's going to be tricky. And we talked about this when I was discussing the Paranoia role-playing game. Humor and satire are tough to pull off in role-playing games. Really, really are. So I don't know. I kind of get the feeling, and once again, absolutely no knock on the fine folks over at Crowbar Creative. I get the feeling that it'll be a book that's far more interesting to read than to actually play. That's just gut reaction. That's it. All right. Kathy Evans is with us. Hiya, Kathy. Good to see you. All right. So we're going to be diving on into Polyversal in just a couple of minutes. But first, I think it's time for a brief intermission.
It's intermission time, folks. Time out for a delicious snack in our sparkling refreshment building. Every item a fresh, appetizing taste treat.
What? That's not sanitary.
I really love my Wilkins coffee.
You want to see a psychiatrist?
I did. That's who told me about Wilkins. I used to love my raincoat.
pure dairy butter from Odell's.
Yes, Wilkins lives, and Wilkins might be losing it. I don't know. So Tessie Trekkie says, Wilkins is a flasher? Yeah, what's up with the loving the raincoat? It's a little bit bizarre. All righty, so tonight I am going to be unboxing and taking a first look at the Polyversal box set from Collins Epic Wargames. This miniatures rule set is for 2 or more players, ages 13 and up. It's a miniatures game, so your playtime is absolutely going to vary. This is designed by Ken Whitehurst. It is available now. The Kickstarter is fulfilling, and yes, it took quite some time for this to fulfill. And I think really the main issue was all of the various different manufacturers of miniatures that Byron Collins had tied into this. Some of them were not holding up their ends of the deal. So that created a major problem. So got to point that out. This box set is available, as I mentioned right now. Carries an MSRP of $75. Swing on over to the other camera because here I've got the Polyversal Sci-Fi Miniatures System. Let's get the shrink wrap off. Now, I took a look at the rule book quite a while back when it was kind of a print on demand. So I'm not sure if that's the same rule book we're going to see in this box or not. So should mention that Byron over at Collins Epic Wargames provided me with this review copy, but neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the gaming gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this coverage with you. And of course, these days, it's important that you know that. All right, so we're going to jump on in. I'm not going to read everything from the back, but I will share a little bit of this. Polyversal is a universal tabletop miniatures game for 2 or more players designed by veteran gamer Ken Whitehurst and developed and published by Collins Epic Wargames, known for their award-winning Spearpoint 1943 line of card war games, which are actually really good. The system is intended for use with 6mm scale miniatures, but may be used with larger 10mm or 15mm miniatures if desired. The game uses color-coded polyhedral dice and combatant tiles to reflect the combat qualities of your units, their weaponry, attack ability, evasion, effectiveness, and more. So there are things I still remember about these rules, and I will discuss as we take a peek through. So we've got a bunch of dice here. Now, one of the things with the dice is you're going to roll 3 dice for your attacks, and everything you need to know about that attack is going to be resolved with those 3 dice that are rolled. And depending on what the unit is, what's going on, is going to determine the dice that you use. So we've got, it looks like a trio of 4-siders, 6-siders, 8-siders, 12-siders. There's our 10s. So go as high as the 12-siders. All right, so here's the rule book. This rule book looks very, very similar to the print on demand. But I'm trying to recall. I don't seem to recall there being a sheen to the paper stock. So we'll just zip through here real quick. I'm not going to look at each and every page. In fact, because I've already done a page through of the rule book a while back. So Kevin had asked, when's the last time a movie theater served real butter on their popcorn? Oh, probably 1979 when that ad was from. So, Tessie Trekkie says, so different units roll different dice. Sounds like Fortress America. I got to be honest, I never played. All right, I almost said I never played Fortress America. I'm trying to remember. I knew somebody who owned it, but I never played it. So, yes, I will continue with the I'd never played Fortress America. So we've got designer notes talking about the miniatures. So one of the aspects of this game that's pretty cool too is that your command, your chain of command is all through these different hexagonal tiles, the way they're put together. So you'll have a headquarter unit, and then I can't say if it's going to be just surrounded by those other units or if there's some other way that it's kind of put together. But another aspect that's really interesting too is that you can create your own units. There's an app that you can use to create these tiles. So if you have science fiction miniatures that you want to include in this system, you can stat them up and create your own combatant tiles. You're going to see some of the tiles as well because I've got some punch boards of them. I think there might be some in the box also. So we've got command and control. So we have examples. We've got a lot of different examples here. Looks like we've got images and artwork throughout. So we've got terrain and movement. The various different conventions that Byron was at, they had some pretty cool setups for this, especially at Origins. Not Origins. Oh yeah, it was Origins. He had a really big table set out. He was doing demos. So I guarantee Byron is very, very happy that he's finally fulfilling the Kickstarter orders. So we've got ranged combat. So here's an example of the dice. Chemical warheads, tactical nukes. So this is a future setting, but it's not like 1,000 years in the future. So here we have assault combat. Combatant design, this is what I was just talking about, where you can create your own. So it's discussing the different classes of units from light to heavy, very heavy. So it looks like we've got quite a lot of page space devoted to designing your own units. And various different abilities, infantry and cavalry. Wow, it looks like, I wouldn't say half of the page count is devoted to that, but there's a lot. So if you've got a bunch of science fiction minis that have been sitting around collecting dust because you really didn't have a system to use, here you go. There's even a section here talking about designing buildings. Cool. All right. So 171 pages. And at page 113 is when the combatant design kicks off. So over a third of the book is devoted to designing your units. All right. Let's see what else we've got in the box here. It's like we've got a couple of player aids. That's my guess. Yep. So here's a breakdown of our combatant tiles. So we've got movement, targeting die. So it's going to tell us what size die it uses. Assault die type, evasion dice. So let's see what else we've got here. Weapons, damage track. So I think the 3 dice, what you're rolling here, is targeting, evasion, and damage, if I remember correctly. And of course, if this is dual-sided as well. So you got a couple of those. It's like we've got a bunch of counters. So let me get the old hobby knife out here. If you want just the PDF, if memory serves correctly, it is still available. I think you can get it on Wargames Vault, which is actually part of the One Bookshelf sites. So we've got gray, and we've got some color. Okay, so these look like these are all going to be kind of informational counters. Get a little closer look here. So we've got breach, stress, targeting, weapon. We've got biochemical, nuclear right here. That's kind of cool. So these are dual-sided. Mobile, jumping. What do we got here? Look like these are the same. Yep. So these 2 counter sheets are identical. I believe these 2 are going to also be identical. And we've got command, fanatic, mercenary, veteran, robot, hive, dice counters here. Kind of interesting. So we've got those, once again, dual-sided. And I'll tell you right now, these are cut really well because they're kind of popping out in my hand. Then we have 4 more. These look like these are all identical as well. So we've got, if I could turn it this way. I have absolutely no idea what these represent. They may just be for factions, possibly. Though they're only one side here. So I don't know. I don't know if this uses like an objective system where you will have which I'm a big fan of actually in miniatures games, where you're scoring victory points for taking objectives, and the objectives are marked obviously enough on the table. So I don't know if that's what this is going to be. So there we've got that. So we've got those 4, these 2, as well as these 2. And we've got the player aids. And we've got the rule book. And that's everything from the Polyversal box. Once again, this is available now. You can order it from polyversal-game.com. Carries an MSRP of $75. Right, so now let's take a look at some of these. So these are our units. So it looks like we've got, I don't know, maybe 8 punch boards here. No, maybe more than that. So let's take a peek here. So we've got the Dagger, Typharch, Tiger Claw, the M82 Boyd, the M83 Curtis. And they are dual-sided. So one side's color and the other side is grayscale. But it looks like everything's the same. No, actually, I bet you when you knock out these units, you flip them over. I guarantee you, now that I'm taking a look a little closer, and these are like UN forces. Because here we've got all the other info, like our dice that we're going to utilize, our movement, things like that. Got our different weapons. So that's my guess. When the unit gets knocked out or eliminated, this gets flipped over. Okay, so I gotta say these punch boards are cut really nicely because stuff's just popping right on out. So it looks like this is the other faction. I think they're like the baddies. M65, Ridgeway, Warthog, the Infernus. These are very cool looking. And of course, these have miniatures. So they are from various different manufacturers, but they do have minis. So we got the Dragonfly, the Rattel, the Wolf Bite. We have a Saifu, looks like it's a mech with a rail gun. We got infantry, so those are all the same. Minutemen. So this is the Op 4 or Op 40. We got the Warthog anti-aircraft, Texas militiamen. I wonder if that's what's going on. Is it like a future war where Texas is trying to secede? I remember as a kid in the 70s, because I was a big reader. I still listen to a lot of audiobooks. But I was like 11 years old and I was reading like Stephen King and Peter Straub and stuff like that. And I remember I was in a bookstore and there was one of the best sellers was some book and it was about Texas seceding from the United States and like this big war that breaks out. I was like, oh, okay. I did not buy it, but I never forgot it. And I was like, oh, okay. So we got the Landhawk, the Growler, the Scarab. Oh, so it looks like we got another faction here as these both pop off. With the Zargon. These are anti-gravity vehicles. And Balkanroots operators. They're advanced infantry. So I think these are mercs. We have the Drake, the Gamaran, Jigan, Nizzlebat. Pretty sweet. Yeah, these are pretty nice. I have some minis. We're going to take a look at the minis. So here we got UN again. So their infantry are peacekeepers. And then we have a Margast, which is a tracked vehicle. More UN. We've got the Ares, which looks like it's either a robot or it's a mech. Gazar, which are wheeled vehicles. I wouldn't be surprised if they're like APCs. So we actually have quite a few of these punch boards. The Janus, the Wombat. And then our final punch board, we have the Leahawk and Pacification Squad. Don't like that terminology there. Pacification Squad. Okay. So let's see. So we had 4, 8, 12. So we've got 12 and each of these has 5 of these hexagonal tiles. So altogether 60 tiles. So pretty sweet. Now this is an extra. This is something that's available extra. I got to be honest, I don't know off the top of my head what the MSRP on this happens to be. Also, I forgot to put the bag of dice back into the box. All right, so we're going to look at some minis. I don't think we're going to look at everything in here. because there's a lot of different stuff, but I do want to give you an idea. I think there's actually a building or two that's in here. But I kind of want to give you an idea of what these minis look like. So hopefully we don't end up with a bunch of issues with the focus here, which I don't think we will. In fact, I think if I move these off screen, I think we should be all right. So here we have some of the aircraft. And these are 6mm. So these are pretty small. These are pretty small units. And I will point out that these are, I'm going to take a guess, maybe it's pewter. So these will probably, some of them might be a little bent like that. I don't think that's how it's supposed to probably be. I take a guess that, well, then again, maybe it is. I don't know. I'm not going to screw around with it. So we've got some of these. So it looks like we got 3 of those that came in that bag with stands. And of course, so they can look like they're flying. So these are UN forces. So this is a quick reaction group. And these look like these are hovercraft. And there are turrets as well. I wouldn't be surprised these are APCs. Okay, let's see what else we got. Looks like this is some sort of a mech. Or maybe not. I don't know. So we've got this piece here. And we also have this piece here. And there's a hole. Well, it doesn't go all the way through. So I'd assume you're actually, oh, I get it. I got it. It's like a walker of some sort. There we go. It's going to look like that. Or something along those lines, right? I might have this upside down or something. So that's kind of cool. And the main body is plastic. And the legs were metal. Looks like we've got a couple more of those hovercraft, but with different turrets. We've got infantry. This is where the 6mm is kind of funny because you're like, wait till you see how small these are. And the thing is, they may represent a unit. They may not even necessarily represent single troops. See how close we can get. Give you a better look here. So there's quite a few of these. And I would assume they probably go on square bases like this, is my guess. And then it looks like we've got some tanks of some sort. There we go. So we've got that. So this is a quick reaction force. So we're not going to see some big heavy hitters in here, I guess. See right there. Battle Group UNA. Okay, we'll put all this stuff back in. And all the various different packs are available through Collins Epic Wargames. And of course, I believe there's also, I don't think there's links to the different manufacturers, but I think in the rules they talk about different manufacturers and that. All right, let's see what this is. I think this is a building. Yep, it's supposed to be a building. All right. So this is, well, it's very, very light. For a second, I thought it was kind of like a foam, but it's not. It's not real. It doesn't really feel like a resin, although it kind of looks like it's resin. But it is super, super light. All right, so we got that. Let's see what else we got in here. Yep, there you go. There goes the focus. Yeah, the camera kind of, if it's just the black in the middle, it's kind of like, wait, what's going on here? What's going on? All right, so here we've got Battle Group B. These are peacekeepers. So this is UN again. So we've got more infantry. Now these infantry are different. For one, they're not on any sort of a sprue. Oh yeah, the other infantry, they look like they were in power armor or something. These are just troops. So look at how tiny that is. I played a lot of Warhammer 40K Epic at the time. I started playing it when it was Adeptus Titanicus or whatever. Loved it. Painted all that stuff. Didn't like the fact that it was so expensive. So, but yeah, I always played the Eldar. And my friend Ed played the Marines. He played Space Marines. All right, so we got this unit here with dual guns on it. So that's cool. So as you can see, there is a lot for Polyversal. So we've got, oh, these are kind of cool. Try to get this open. Come on, you. So these are definitely APCs because you can see they're APCs. See if we can get a little closer up there. All right, let's get this out of the way. Make it easier for this to try to pick up focus on it. These look like they would paint up pretty nice. I mean, for being 6mm, there's some good detail on them. That's for sure. Once again, they're not all the same manufacturer, so I don't know. All right, so this was this battle force. We'll just take a look at a little bit more. Like I said, we're not going to look at everything that Byron had sent me a couple of years ago, but let's see. I don't know if this is a building here or if this is something else. Kickstarter extras, exclusives, and add-ons. All right, and then we got another building that actually needs to be assembled. What it looks like to me right there. So these extras are probably all different things. Oh, that big old plane. That's pretty cool. I don't know if that's picking it up or not. Like I've said before, unfortunately, Panasonic's autofocus is not the greatest, but all right, here's a big old monster here. All right, come on. See, that's what I don't like is because it catches the black background and then suddenly it's like, where is everything? It's like, just leave it. That's why very rarely do I have autofocus. Okay, so it's got a couple of guns in that, but this is really good size. Tank. This is huge. Not ogre size, but still pretty damn big. All right, so this has a bunch of the extras in that. So that was also a building that was part of that. See, there's still quite a bit to take a peek at. That's why we're not going to look at everything, but I do want to kind of see where we've got those the mercenaries, and then okay, here's Texas Militia. So isn't this the Op 4 or Op 40? Oh, that's kind of cool. Take this out here. Show you this. Look like these might be their personnel carriers. Or they fly. I can't really tell. Do they have wheels that have to go on here? I don't know. That's kind of interesting. It's pretty big. Pretty good size. Yeah, that looks like the undercarriage there. All right. So what else we got with Texas Militia that we can pull out, take a quick peek at? Oh, here's their what look like fighters. So Jason says, "Yay, ogre!" Oh, here. Oh, it's what was it? Ed 9000? Wasn't that it from RoboCop? That's pretty cool, and it's assembled. You don't have to put it together. Sweet. Yeah, that was one of the first things that I thought taking a look at this is it kind of reminds you a little bit of Ogre or GEV. All right, and then we got a bunch of troops here. They look very, very similar. They're probably all the same. They look kind of similar to the UN, just regular infantry. All right, so we got that. So we got a few different units there. Here we've got, oh, here, these are the mercs. So here are the mercenaries. We got a bunch of their troops. And then here's an aircraft. There's a couple of them, like so. Sweet. All right. But we're not going to, like I said, we're not going to take a look at each and everything because I don't want this being a 2-hour stream. All right. So we got one more pack to open up. One more bubble wrap pack. I'm going to take a guess. This is going to be Texas again. More Texas stuff. Oh, no. Here we go. Op 4A. So that's it. Op 4A. So we've got the Texans. Op 4A. We've got the Mercs. And we got the UN. So it looks like we actually have 4 different factions in this. Now, it is possible that, some of them are allied with somebody else. So, okay, so here we've got their infantry. Now, these are still on sprues. So they have to be removed. Then we've got, I think these are their aircraft. They look pretty little. Oh no, these are like bikes. Yeah. These are like trikes. I don't know if we're going to, come on, there we go. Pick it up. That's cool. So with a lot of these, it appears that we get 3. Here's their aircraft. Now this looks like it's out of Terminator. There we go. Sweet. All right. So all of these goodies can also be yours. One of the things I will also point out is painting 6mm miniatures is not very difficult, especially if you use washes and things like that. So if you've kind of stayed away from minis, because, you know, painting like 28 and 32mm figures, that is tricky. I've painted for a long time, and it's still not something that I'm like, oh yeah, I'm an ace at this. But the smaller minis are pretty easy to crank out. All right, so we got all those goodies, and those go with the Polyversal sci-fi miniature system from Collins Epic Wargames. Yes, sirree. Once again, this box set is available for $75. And, of course, you've got a variety of different packs of miniatures that you can pick up as well. All right, let's swing on over to the other camera. Sweet. So I'm super glad to see Polyversal finally getting out there to backers and that, because I felt really bad for Byron Collins, because, you know, I know he was trying to do the right thing. Okay, so that's it for this time out. Do want to mention tomorrow's show, we are going to unbox and take a first look at Cult of the Deep. You might recall that I did a Kickstarter preview of this. So this is another Kickstarter that's fulfilling, and wanted to share that. So we're going to take a peek. I actually thought this was a pretty cool game. And this is from BA Games. So we'll look at that. And then on Wednesday's show, we're going to take a look at the upcoming role-playing game, Gran Mechanismo. I think that's it, Mechanismo, from Osprey Games. So this is like a clockwork punk or clock punk role-playing game set in Venice. And I think it's Da Vinci's Venice, actually. So that is going to be on Wednesday's show. All right. So if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, ding that bell. It'll not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings right here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Central. It'll also let you know when I upload other videos, such as my unboxing and first look at the Magic the Gathering Dominaria United bundle. I cracked open the 8 boosters that were in here. We took a peek at that. So if you're kind of curious what that kind of stained glass art style is, I got a few cards that had that. So we do take a peek at the cards in there as well. So if you're kind of curious about the new set that came out, give it a peek. All right. So if you were watching live, thank you very much. If you took part in chat, extra experience points for you, my friends. But of course, I know a lot of you out there, you don't have an opportunity to watch live. Doesn't matter if you're watching live or on Memorex. Thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to watch any of the videos on the channel here. All right, everybody, enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is in your neck of the woods. I will be back tomorrow, and here's hoping each and every one of you always gets to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.
Oh, hey, you're still here. That's okay. You don't have to leave just yet. In fact, why don't you subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel right here, or take a peek at the latest live stream, or even find out what YouTube recommends you check out from the channel. And of course, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thanks again for watching.